We now have the top 2 tips you need to know to help your small business grow. Let's introduce our board of directors and get their advice. Entrepreneur James Reinhardt is the co-founder and CEO of ThredUp, the largest online consignment and thrift store. And serial entrepreneur Larry Broughton is the founder and CEO of Broughton Hotels, operating locations throughout California and also in Chicago. It's so good to see you both.
Hey, great to be here.
You have such a great story, James. You started your company from nothing. You just got $80 million from Goldman. I use your company, ThredUp.
Thank you.
So you've taken it from nothing to, how many employees you say?
About 700 now.
Okay. What's something you learned along the way?
Well, we've learned a lot. I mean, I think
Distill it down to one thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the biggest thing we've learned is to really focus on the culture at the company. I think it's easy as you grow really quickly to think about the top line and the bottom line, but it's ultimately about the people. And I think great companies always get back to culture and about why employees want to work there and what they're trying to accomplish. And I think the biggest thing we've learned is that you can never forget that it's all about the people in your company. They ultimately help you become successful over the long term.
Do you feel like you've had your culture right from the get-go, or have you had to tweak it along the way?
I think you are always tweaking it, because what works for 5 people in a coffee shop is different than what works for 700 across 4 locations. But I think the key is to be really relentless about talking about it and always thinking about ways you can do things better. But yeah, inevitably, it changes all along the way.
Have you had to get rid of people because they didn't fit the culture?
Sure. I mean, I think, the people that help you go from your first 0 to $1 million to the people who help you get to 100 million are different people, different responsibilities. And so I think, the job of the CEO is to keep figuring out who are the right people to be on the bus.
Right. All right, Larry.
I am really going to recommend that people just ditch the pitch. Once and for all, ditch the pitch. I think the elevator pitches have their place, but too often we go to networking events and people are immediately going into their elevator pitch. And so a couple years ago, I started asking venture capitalists, investors, and CEOs, how many of you actually bought something right off of the first pitch that you ever heard? And nobody ever has. The truth is, we want to do business with those that we know, like, and trust. And so I'm going to recommend that people do this. Instead of doing the canned elevator pitch, start your conversations with this. When somebody says to you, hey, what do you do? Use these 3 sentences. I hate it when, fill in the blank. I love it when, fill in the blank. So I, fill in the blank. So for instance, I've got this, I mentor and coach entrepreneurs, right? So I'd say, I hate it when I see entrepreneurs out there floundering, they're struggling, they have no idea what to do, they don't have the tools, tips, or resources to get the job done. I love it when they can change these multi-generational, strain of poverty that they're in, and I love to see them get to their fullest potential, so I coach and mentor them, give them the resources and the tools to do their great job. So, I say ditch the pitch.
You know what? I love that. I love it because pitching, after you've said it so many times, starts to feel canned, right? And if
it is canned.
Just having a normal conversation with someone, I mean, I find myself, even when I start to talk, I'm like, oh, here I go again,
Yes,
right?
Yep.
Right.
And so and that makes it much more personal.
Yeah, so just remember, I hate it when, I love it when, so I, and then you just fill in the blanks as you're talking.
Yeah. I use a version of that all the time. I think it's great because it lets people connect with another shared way that they're thinking about a problem or your problem, and it helps build.
What do you do?
I mean, I hate it when you look into your closet and you got a closet full of clothes you aren't going to wear, right? And I love that feeling once you've purged.
Right.
And you walk in there and it's like you can find the things you want, right? And so we're relentless about helping people kind of have that magic moment, and I think everybody can relate to that.
Right.
Bing.
There we go.
All right. This
Good
was
advice.
great advice, both of them. Thank you both.
Thank you.